Oh my goodness. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for probably the most awaited video on this channel. 6 things we learned. We know it's the series we do after the games. When we get a big win, you guys are always waiting for that one. You've been going crazy at me, rightly so, for the past 3 days because there's been no video, yet we finally, Chelsea Football Club finally announced Kai Havertz. It's been like, I called it back in June. You guys know I was one of the first ones to come up with like some good logical reasons online as to why Havertz at Chelsea is something that we would likely see this summer. I proved myself right, and I proved those of you who doubted me wrong, but it's not about like Benson proving points. This is about Chelsea Football Club acquiring a young player for what looks like at the moment, I'm still trying to discover whether it's actually the record transfer fee or whether it's just below the record transfer fee. But including add-ons, it will become our record transfer fee. Kai Havertz is a Chelsea player. It was announced on Friday. Medicals were passed. There was everybody tracking his aeroplane, flying over from Germany. Obviously, he left international duty. And then from the Stuttgart base in Germany, he flew over to London, goes to Stamford Bridge, finishes everything off. And the longest awaited saga that I can remember in quite some time with Chelsea Football Club, it's finally done. He's already training in Cobham. And I sit here on this Sunday morning wearing a shirt and a kimono that is part of the brand that you guys will be able to buy from very, very soon, called Blappice. You guys should go and follow the Instagram, link in the description. I'm sat here thinking, blimey, like Sunday mornings don't get much better than this one. I can make a video talking about the 5 reasons why Kai Havertz is the perfect fit for Chelsea Football Club and why Chelsea Football Club is the perfect fit for Kai Havertz. So we're going to get into that today. Subscribe to GBFC so that you never miss a video. Season 2 is here, and we're going to start off with reason number 1. And reason number 1 is one of the reasons why I think so many rival fans are eating that nice little slice of humble pie. It's normally me eating a slice of humble pie, but rival fans right now, nobody can come up with this argument or this idea anymore that Frank Lampard is too inexperienced of a manager. He doesn't have the pull power to be able to bring the high quality names to Chelsea Football Club. I know from a devil's advocate kind of position that Chelsea wouldn't be able to just have Frank Lampard pulling in these players without some serious financial backing of the board and the owner. There is that kind of element, but when it comes to Chelsea signing players like Timo Werner, supposedly Pep Guardiola wanted him. We know that Jurgen Klopp wanted him. Hakim Ziyech, wanted by some of the biggest names in Europe. Kai Havertz as well, despite obviously the financial market that we're in. Kai Havertz spoke to Frank Lampard. All of these players that signed for Chelsea spoke to Lampard, and Lampard's discussions and the way that Lampard spoke to the players, the way that Lampard sells the Chelsea project is one of the main reasons why these players have been so keen and so eager to sign on the dotted line and become Chelsea players. In terms of like the role reversal and what Frank Lampard will do for Havertz as a player and why that fit is even more perfect, Kai Havertz is an attacking midfielder. We've already seen that he's mentioned it in his interviews, that going forward, scoring goals, getting assists, this is what he's best at. And obviously Frank Lampard is the greatest attacking midfielder of this generation, or the generation for the past 20 years when Havertz has been growing up. Frank Lampard is one of those players that he would be watching in world football saying, that is the kind of player that I want to become like. I want to be getting into these positions. I want to be shooting like this. I want to be shooting from range, arriving late in the box. And at 21 years old, to have made this move now to Chelsea, playing underneath Lampard as a manager, just adding a little bit of chocolate on top of a biscuit. It's a perfect idea. It's a wonderful one. Dunk it in the tea. Job's a good un. Kai Havertz playing under Frank Lampard, it's perfect because not only is Havertz a very good player that's going to improve Lampard's team and give us a better chance of, seeing this dynasty that we want Lampard to build at the club. But playing under Lampard, that player, it's all like getting a little bit messy in my head here, but Messi, maybe he's staying at Barcelona next year to come next season, but we'll leave that one for another day. Havertz under Lampard, it's an absolute dream. Moving in to reason number 2. So reason number 2, and this one that we've mentioned a lot when we've been talking about Chelsea's pursuit of Havertz and how it fits with the project that we're making right now at the club. The way that Chelsea have conducted their business this summer, they're buying players who can offer them a lot of versatility. We know that Kai Havertz is the epitome of all of this. He likes to play in the middle in central areas. He can play as a number 8, can play as a number 10. He can be used as a centre forward. He can also play out on the wings as well, but it's obviously not his preferred position. He likes to operate from a central position, and he can also operate from a little bit deeper as well. But with his creativity in this Chelsea team, and you look at the likes of Kante, you could see Ruben in more of a deeper role if this is the way he's going to play for us. Kovacic, Mount, these players can drop a little deeper, allowing Kai Havertz the freedom to go forward. But again, that versatility gives Chelsea so many options, and I think this season, what we'll see Frank Lampard doing is maybe something a little similar to what we saw last season, where there was a lot of changes in formations. 1 week we've got wing-backs. Frank Lampard has shown over last season that he's not afraid to change things, and I think with the players we've brought in, we can adapt different roles, different positions to find out how this club functions best on the field with any given 11. So reason number 3, and this one is mainly for Chelsea as to why Kai Havertz is the perfect fit, the price. We know this year's been crazy. Corona. It's ruined football in a way, but at least we've got it back to some extent, even though the fans can't be in the stadium. Which, by the way, what a special moment that's going to be. Just keep that in the back of your mind. First time that all the fans are allowed back to the bridge. It's going to be one hell of a party. I might try and get myself back for it. But the price that we've spent on Havertz, it's incredible. Like, we know that Chelsea can negotiate transfers very well. We also know that in the past, we've been mugged off for a couple of transfers too. So it's a bit of a catch-22. But the way that Chelsea have conducted their business with all of the signings that we've brought in, you could say that some of the players could have even sold for double in the market as normal. But Chelsea have been so shrewd with their business, and 70 odd million quid, going up to 80 million including add-ons. It looked as if it was going to be 100, but from what I understand now, Chelsea have managed to bargain Bayer Leverkusen even more. And if we look at it from like a long-term thing, where I don't want to sit here and entertain ideas that Havertz will end up leaving Chelsea, because I think that the man has signed for a project, he's signed a 5-year contract, and at the age that he is, he's only going to get better, and I think this Chelsea team will grow as these young players grow too, and I think it will grow very successfully. So even though I'd love to say that Havertz will be at Chelsea all his career, if he isn't, and as long as his career trajectory keeps going the way that it seems to be going right now, it's a similar scenario to an Eden Hazard signing, where we sign him for 30 odd million, we sell him for like excess of 100 million, Chelsea make a load of profit, but they also get a world-class player for the time that he's at the club. I think this is a wonderful piece of business for Chelsea. A lot of people are saying like 21 years old, it's a bit of a risk. There are players going at the same age for a lot more money than that. Kylian Mbappe, for example. I know it's different positions. I'm not saying Havertz is as good as Mbappe, but I think in various positions, he could become that kind of level of player in terms of what he can bring for many years to come. So the price point for Chelsea was absolutely fantastic. Bayer Leverkusen obviously negotiated hard, but Chelsea negotiate harder, which is ridiculous, aren't we? We're absolutely amazing. Hit the like button on today's video if you're enjoying it, and if you're excited for the Havertz arrival and all of these players that we're going to see play for Chelsea very, very soon. Let's move into reason number 4. So reason number 4, it sets a precedent for Chelsea's ambition. It sets a precedent for what we could come to see in the future. Chelsea have made some big statements in this window. Not only are we backing a very young manager who's loved by the club, who brings this feel-good factor to Chelsea Football Club. And I bring it back to the whole topic of energy and how some people don't read into this at all. Some people think the players are just out there for the money. When a player is wanted by many clubs, and when he knows that even if you waited a year, the biggest clubs in the world like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, these clubs will be coming in for Havertz at one stage or another, for sure. The energy that Chelsea created, not only does it build everybody at the club, not only does it raise the expectations of the fans, which can be dangerous, but everyone gets excited about Chelsea. And when they make these kind of signings, it shows that the ambition of the club, the ambition of the manager, is exactly at the same level that we as fans wish to see. You know, we've lifted the Champions League. We've lifted Premier League trophies. We're used to winning things. We're not like a club in London that makes Amazon documentaries about winning nothing. We could make an Amazon documentary that could last a year because we actually win things. You know what I mean? So the ambition that Chelsea is showing with this signing of Kai Havertz is huge. And I don't think we should look at this transfer window as being like, okay, we've bought in a load of marquee names, we'll probably have to wait a few years to ever have a window like this again. I think what this does is it repositions Chelsea in the market as a major European footballing powerhouse where players want to come into the club because they see what we want to achieve, we see what we're looking to create, and they want to be a part of it. So Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Thiago Silva, Sarr, Ben Chilwell, now Havertz, all of these players coming in, not only does it probably help that they see what Chelsea are trying to build, they see the energy, they see how good things could be, but for the future as well, with future transfer windows, the pull power that Chelsea now get as a result of having even better players at the club is absolutely massive. Now, reason number 5, and I think this is the key one that a lot of people are currently asking questions about. I've had so many people saying, what does it mean for Mason Mount? What does it mean for Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, these young players that we've ranted and raved about? They've come through the academy. Mason played over 50 games in his debut season. What does this mean for him? Now, I bring it back to a comment that I've made throughout the whole of last season, particularly when we're doing 6 Things We Learn, when we're analysing Chelsea performances after wins, draws, losses. The overall goal of fans should always be to see the success of the club. I always want Chelsea to win things, and even if I have an affiliation to an individual player, the way that we do with these youngsters right now, because they've come through the academy, it's beautiful, it's a great story, but overall, Chelsea always need to be looking to elevate. Chelsea always need to be positioning themselves as a team that can challenge. And by bringing in these players, it shows that ambition. It shows all the other reasons we've mentioned in this video. But the key thing, despite me still thinking, and I still believe that Mason Mount will have a big part to play this season, I also think, and I hope that Ruben will as well, particularly with these two, it's going to elevate their game. Seeing these players come in competitive positions, it's going to enable these guys to not only learn from other very good, talented players, but it's going to make them raise their game. The standards at Chelsea this season are going to be so high due to that competition for places that I fully expect Mason Mount to even score more and assist more this season, even if he gets less minutes, because of the creativity. And I know that you guys are going to say, you didn't mention Pulisic again. The reason I'm not mentioning Pulisic is because I think last season, Christian Pulisic made that position his own. I don't see him being dropped at all this season unless he's injured. And again, it's going to raise Pulisic's game as well. Everybody at this club is going to elevate as a result of this kind of signing. And when you start mixing it together with all of the other signings, you get to see that there's even competition between the players that have just arrived, not necessarily even the ones that have been here throughout the academy that broke in last season. So much competition. And in my head, I'm like, I've got to make some predicted lineup videos this week in terms of how I think Chelsea could line up, how we fit as many of these players into a system as possible. It's going to be an interesting season, and I cannot wait for it to begin. Kai Havertz is a Chelsea player. I didn't want this one to be like another, he signed, like, get all excited kind of thing. I wanted to give it like 5 reasons, something a little bit different. Obviously, I've been talking about Havertz on the channel now for months. There's been tons of videos. Some of you say that literally if it's not a George Benson video, if Havertz isn't in the thumbnail, we're going to see that a lot more now, because not only is he going to be in my thumbnails, but he's going to be in my thumbnails wearing Chelsea shirts because he's a Chelsea player. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video today, be sure to hit the like button. See if we can go for 6,000 likes. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new video. Took a few days off because I've had a load of plans here. I've been super busy doing a lot of things, working on clothing, working on the rebrand for GBFC, and also having a good time in my life as well. So I hope you guys can appreciate that. Havertz is a blue. We can put the saga to bed, and now we can start looking at how he's going to fit and play in our Chelsea team. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.